Well, it's about 5 minutes before noon, so good morning, technically, everyone. I know this is going to be a little weird, and I'm going to grant you it's a little strange. We haven't done a reading on a Monday in a very long time. However, like I said, schedule at work is going to be super wonky for a while, so the weekly readings are going to be coming at rather random days. But not only am I off this Monday, I'm also off next Monday, so we'll be getting two Monday readings. So finally we'll get a nice space of 7 days apart. However, this one's going to be somewhat special for a couple reasons. We haven't done a Moonology Monday in a while, so that deck's going to be making an appearance here. We also are, I'm sure you remember, I did a rune dedication a couple weeks ago, a little over a couple weeks ago now, and we will be using those runes here today. That's why I broke out the big rune cloth today. Also, I decided to pull out the old Spirit Cats deck because we haven't seen that one in a while. And I really wanted to use that as the significator today because it's been helpful in the past and we haven't really used it much lately. But Viking Oracle will be used as the guide. And you know what today is. Today is, of course, Mani's Day, the day of the moon itself. So I'm hoping that each of you is finding yourself coming into a great Monday. And if you're not exactly feeling all that great, well, hopefully your day gets better. I know Mondays typically tend to be the Donovan I don't like Mondays kind of vibe, but guess what? We're going to see how to turn that Monday into something great today. Okay. Also, Havamal series will be going on as planned, and this is not going to be the full reading, of course, because we have a lot of ground to cover and I don't want to keep you too long. I really want to get right to the point of all of this. However, if you would like a full reading, link tree in the description down below. You go and you throw me something off Amazon. Anything 35 and under will get you 4 readings and a birthday reading. Anything over that will get you 8 readings and 7 readings and a birthday reading. So you can use those however you want. You can easily just go right ahead and let me just shuffle up these runes a little more. You can go ahead and gift those readings to somebody. So you can give someone else a reading if you'd like. Think of it like this. By giving me a gift, you could give gifts to other people, including yourself. Right? Great ideas for birthdays, Christmas, and if that's not your thing and you just want to continue to enjoy the free readings, go right ahead. It's perfectly fine. I know times are tough all over. And I have a special announcement before I begin this. Pretty soon you will see a brand new avatar, you will see a brand new banner, and you will see a brand new intro. I'm currently working with someone to make that happen. That will take a little while though, so no time soon just yet, but you will see that, and then I will introduce you to that person, and hopefully I will be able to get them on a live stream, and we'll talk about it this way. But anyway, let's see that significator card. This is us for Monday, right here. This is Threshold. So meet Sage. She's the queen of the threshold, in or out or in. She lingers right at the borderland between worlds. Glancing back, she takes stock of everything she's cherished, everything that has challenged and interested her, and everything that has weighed her down and limited her. She peeks her nose through the door and smells the fresh air of possibility with a swirl of exhilaration and a hint of fear. Perhaps even tiptoes through a few times, only to return to our old world for a while. Find peace at the threshold, but don't surrender to the turn-back now gargoyles that guard the way. When you are ready, you will stride boldly into your new world. So it looks like we're actually meeting some new stuff on the way. This is where your manifestation, remember August 8th was the Lionsgate portal, and if you did your manifestations on that day, guess what? You are about to encounter new things. When you wish for new things, remember that sometimes you have to leave some old things behind. Now, what is our significator for today? Vegvisir. This is a rather new, this is not old, it's a new rune stave, which is called the Viking Compass. However, I think it's letting us know that we should be well on our way to finding our way. And when you're navigating new things, it can be very difficult. There are times where people really like to provide you with that fog, you know. Let the surprise come. But this is the thing. Unless you really choose to be, you're never truly lost. See, here's the thing. We have purpose, we have gifts and direction to fulfill that purpose. So even in the worst of times, you can know that you're loved and protected. But you can find your own way even if it seems hidden to you. Okay. Now, this is one of those sigils. It assists us in stepping forward into the unknown with confidence. Remember what happened with Sage there. Sage kind of tiptoes through for a little bit and then goes back to her own world for a minute. That happens with just about every new cat, doesn't it? Every new pet. Every new pet's trying to figure out their way in your home until they figure out the rules, right? That's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be tiptoeing your way around until you figure things out, until you get the lay of it. And then you're going to wander right forth into it. You're just going to kind of burst onto the scene, right? You might be a bit of a Johnny-come-lately, but that's nothing to worry about. Let's have a look at what we look at in nature. And we've got Nightingale Spirit. Remember when it said you're still loved and protected? That's very true. And you really don't have to look very far for it. You don't have to look out there. Look inside. Because if you don't love yourself, no one else will either. We've established that a long time ago. And a lot of these old messages keep coming up because they're important lessons. They're important lessons for all of us to learn. Right? Okay. Let's get back into the tarot here. We've got Five of Wands in reverse. We've got an Emperor in reverse. And we also have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So there's no reason to get defensive right now. In your past, you're going to look back and see that there was no reason to get defensive in the first place. Because in your own defense, the best thing about some of those failures that you experienced were that there are some very powerful lessons contained within. As a matter of fact, I was watching J.D. DeLay, and there were people that talked to him that said, understand J.D. DeLay is a former 20-year criminal who now works as, I don't want to say a life coach, but a recovery coach. And he specializes in healing people, helping them heal themselves. So initiating that self-healing there. Now, about that Five of Wands, you are going to have some trickery. You're going to have a little deception there. You're going to have disputes with people, but the question is, how do you handle it? Right? How have you handled it in the past? Because that's going to be the experience on which you want to draw. And the thing about the Emperor in reverse, this lovely card here, is that you're going to have to confuse your enemies. Remember, those who come up against you, you've dealt with this before. You've dealt with those mindsets before. You've dealt with those types of arguments before. You've seen those structures in place. So what you have to remember is, once you have dealt with it logically and it doesn't seem to be helping, there are people out there that are going to attempt to confuse you. Remember, if they can't Tom MacDonald said it best, if they can't convince you, they'll confuse you. Okay? They'll try to obstruct you. They'll try to use immaturity against you. But remember, your benevolence and compassion can override that. People will see who you really are. Now, this is the point. This is the week where you're going to either shine or you're going to dim. It's going to be one or the other. You can't really have both. You can't claim victimhood and still assume power. It does not work that way. So you're going to have to pick one. And if you pick, you better be ready to commit to it, because if you don't, guess what? It's not going to be a very good time for you or anyone else around you. Now, a lot of people are going to try to use bad faith on you. Remember the gargoyles that we talked about? These two were it. They're trying to scare you right back into it. Problem is, you're like, where is this coming from? Well, it's coming from people who just can't stand to see you succeed. When you succeed, when you put your best effort forward to succeed, you're either going to have someone that didn't do it, and they're going to shit all over your work, or they're going to shit all over you, or you're going to succeed, and then they're going to come, either way, it comes from a place of envy. Either they couldn't do it, or they wouldn't do it, or they didn't do it, and now you're going to be made to suffer for it. I have seen this in the past couple months with certain people, and let me tell you something. Those people never win. All they do is expose themselves. So you have to be ready with receipts. And you have to make your actions unimpeachable. And when someone comes at you with an attack, you can throw out who they really are. Because you've already seen it. You've already dealt with it. From what I'm looking at so far, it looks like something's been very recent. But now we're going to get to the question of what you need to know in order to make your success, to make your confidence stand out. So, we do have 3 cards here from Moonology. We're going to start with this one. Step out of your comfort zone. This goes right back to Havamal stanza 5, which lets you know that you really should have that knowledge stepping out the door. You should have that wisdom stepping out the door. And if you're going to sit among the wise, you better have something to contribute. If you do not, everyone around you is going to know it. And then everyone around you is going to look at you like, what are you, just terminally sitting here trying to start things? Don't be that guy. Be the other one. Be the one with something to contribute. And be ready to contribute it. But here's the thing, with that, from that north node to this waning moon, what do you need to release? What do you need to let go of? Because right now, letting go is going to be the very thing that you really want to do. Let go of all the bullshit. Stop beating yourself up, because it's not going to help. And you really need to know that right now, luck is on your side. We have a lot of dark moons in this particular one. That waning moon is letting you know it's on its way out, and then you have a new moon in Sagittarius, but you have this north node here that's really reinforcing that new moon in Sagittarius. So I really want you to focus on that. And on top of that, we're going to get down to 3 runes, and I got the first one. Yep, right there. We've got Thurisaz, the thorn, and that goes right here. Goes right alongside that 5 of wands in reverse, because this is the point where A storm can either consume you or you can become the storm. Question is, which one do you want to do? Which one are you going to be? That's a question only you can answer. And you know what? I think I found that second one. And we've got Othala. So you're going to have to seek at least remember we talked about stepping out of your comfort zone, being among the wise, letting that compassion, letting your willingness and ability to learn come into play. And yep, there are going to be those that came before you, and you're going to have to consult them because they have a lot of the answers you're seeking. And that's the blank one I really don't use. This one. And of course you're going to have to approach it with this in mind. With manas. That is not manas. I know I usually get those two a little mixed up, but I do not think that is manas at all. It's certainly not degas. That is Iwas. This one, if I am not mistaken, I'm sorry, I have to look this one up just real quick. And this one is, let me see if I was correct. Boom, manas, yes. This is going to come with your movement forward. Because with manas, on page 93 it says, yep, manas, the starting point is you, the self. So, it's telling you to be in the world, but not of it. Right now. This is letting you know, don't be closed, narrow, or judging, but just rather remain receptive to impulses flowing from the divine and within and without. So strive to live that ordinary life in a non-ordinary way. That can be tricky. That can be tricky and difficult to navigate. But here's the thing. You're able to do it. You don't have to get down in the muck and start slinging muck. It's very simple. If someone is making baseless accusations at you, if you have the receipts, you can set the record straight. This is rumor control. These are the facts. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a warning here. Man, Mondays can be brutal, can they not? Money can sometimes be a little indelicate. And right now, we are absolutely getting the message. And you know what? I wonder. I'm going to draw one more card from the Viking Oracle and see what we got. And you know what? Grab Yggdrasil. This is what you want to keep in mind always. And I'm going to put it right here. Because with Yggdrasil, you are part of something much larger than just yourself. And that's how you have to approach it. These people who want to remain petty, vindictive, and spiteful, they are going to remain petty, vindictive, spiteful, small little clowns. You want to know what they have in common? What every one of them has in common right now. They have no authority. You shouldn't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone to do your thing at your speed for anyone. Right now, likewise, you have no authority over someone else's life. However, you are the most powerful person that you know because you can affect the change in your own life. But you have to be ready, willing, and able to do it. The manifestations that you perform are not a spectator sport. You have to take part. When you, let me give you an example. When you get a new job, you have to learn the ins and outs of that new job, right? In order to become successful at it. And when you're able to demonstrate that knowledge, guess what? Nothing else matters. Unless you're working for Best Buy or someone like that. And in any case, I'm almost certain that if you're not getting your value out of a place, or a person, or some kind of arrangement you've set up, it's time to look at that arrangement, renegotiate it, and then maybe move on to something else. It's that simple. Nothing in life makes happiness more than simplicity, so learn to keep it very simple. Sometimes it is better to be lucky than good. And remember, those who truly support you will do so. And it's important not to let that go. I hope you got something out of this. I really do. I want to thank all of you for joining me today. I want all of you to know that, as always, I love you all. And this is my Monday cup that I've been using quite a bit and washing. My prescription for fuck it all is refilled, alive, and well. Yours should be too. Be sure to take that dose, right? For me, it's going to be this tea every time. Just remember, again, thank you all for your likes, your comments, your shares, your subscriptions, and all that good stuff, because I love you all. I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. I want you to always do what lights you up, and as always, shine on. Yeah, just a quick little post-credit scene here, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you something. Pick that book up, and it actually came with this set of runes and the bag. Yep, had a little bit of a moment where I flopped there and misidentified a rune. Grabbed that book and had to look it up. Did it right in front of you. Want to know why? Because I'm always studying. And guess what? Some of these runes, they are so similar that sometimes mistakes will be made. But I'm also learning. I've also been kind of using runes with the training wheels, if you know what I mean, where I've been using cards rather than just the runes themselves. And you know what? Can't keep the training wheels on forever. So today was a day where I definitely stepped out of my comfort zone, and I hope you will too. And guess what? If you fail, that's not a problem. The question is, what did you learn from it? Because you only really failed if you chose to accept it. If you chose to accept it, well then, yep, you failed. And there won't be much in the way of sympathy, but if you choose to learn from it and you choose to make something better moving forward, well then you didn't really fail, did you? You learned from a failure, which is different. So if you fail today, it's not a big deal. Get up, dust yourself off, get back on the horse, and get ready to do it again. You might fail 100 times, but you'll probably succeed on that 101st, won't you? Yeah, you will, because you're here, and that's what you do. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this much: this channel is not about me; it's more about you than anything. So, You're not letting me down if you don't do it. You're letting you down. And if you let you down, that's an even worse disappointment. I can tell you this much right now. There was just as an example, there was a time where a guy I knew decided to take me through some exercises he learned in the military, and he was running me through it. And I was completely gassed because I hadn't really done his style of workout before. And let me tell you something. About 30 seconds before the whole thing ended, I could not move. Or at least that's what I said. I couldn't do anymore. I literally stopped. And let me just go on to say that later on, he and I kind of ran out to go get groceries, and man, my legs were like jello, my arms were like jello. I could not. I was glad to have his help, let's just put it that way. And the absolute worst thing I felt wasn't the fatigue in my arms or my legs or my core or my chest or my back, which all of those were present, believe that. The absolute worst pain I felt that day, and in the days afterwards, were the fact that I couldn't hold out for 30 more seconds, or I told myself I couldn't hold out for 30 more seconds. That was out of my comfort zone. And it sucked. It sucked major balls. But I really let myself down, and I knew it, and he never once said, "I told you so." Because during the entire workout, he said, if you do tap out now, you're not letting me down, you're letting you down. And at first I was like, I'm okay with that. And then afterwards, I wasn't okay with it. Not by a long shot. I was hurting. I was hurting bad. And it wasn't the physical pain, it was the mental anguish. I kept beating myself up. And then he told me, we're going to do it again tomorrow. And if you keep beating yourself up, you won't have any energy left to do it. He said, save that energy for tomorrow. The very next day, I managed to stick out the entire session. As my arms and back and chest and legs and core and everything were just absolutely killing me, worse than the day before, I managed to stick it out. That's going to be the message for you. Stick it out. I think you'll be okay. Don't let yourself down, because you're not letting me down. It's not up to me. Alright? Take care. Love you.